Hi everybody.
Hey.
We're sorry that we didn't get an episode out this week, but
Yeah.
we're giving you some new content right now.
It's been a crazy week, and we've had a ton of other things, and that you would think living together and like spending all time together would be easy to kind of coordinate what we're doing and stuff, but life, it kind of...
We haven't had a lot of free times. We've had a lot of work obligations, family
Weddings,
obligations, and personal stuff. So,
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
life gets in the way.
Yeah, I know. We were trying so hard to not miss a single episode, but
It's just not
sometimes-
realistic, though.
Yeah,
It's-
you don't want to like burn out too. So.
Right, and I don't want to give something that's half-assed either.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, we want to whole ass everything, like Ron
Gotta-
Swanson says.
got a whole
Oh
ass.
crap! I'm wearing my That's Rat shirt.
Parks and Rec for
Two Parks and Rec in once.
I did cover 2 Parks and Rec episodes.
That's true. But anyway, we thought we would give you guys a video that's like directed towards the listeners. That's something a little bit different than the podcast, and this is kind of like a special we're sorry plate of cookies for you guys.
Sorry. Yeah, this is like weird. I don't know. Trying to get used to it.
We have the monitor like right below the camera, so we're like
And it's a
trying
little
not to like.
glitchy on the monitor, and
Well,
but
I try,
you
man.
everything can't be
not the
perfect.
technical wizard that I claim to be on the internet.
It's okay. I'm just
So-
ignoring it. I'm looking directly at the camera.
Exactly. So we have a couple things lined up. We were going to do a little questions for each other that Heather hasn't showed me yet, and she surprised me with an actual list of questions. So I'm going to be giving her off the top of my head questions because that's where I work. That's my sweet spot.
Yeah,
And
you're
then-
off the cuff, so
Yeah.
it's good.
And then we'll give you guys like a little taste of some stuff that we have planned out that is actually pretty fun. I know people say that, like, especially in the bands like music industry, they're like, stay tuned for big stuff, and you're like, yeah, okay.
I mean, this video is just like a little test of what's to come, maybe.
Yes.
A sample.
Yes, we're old, but we have to get on TikTok.
We're working on it.
See, I'm not a good dancer, and you are, so.
I don't know. TikTok's not all dancing, though.
No, that's true. I learned a lot about, like, food and cats.
I was going to say we learned about toe beans today. That
Oh, yeah.
kitty toe beans are shock absorbent. So
Mhm. Yep.
there's a fun fact today.
Of course, our cat's sitting over in the new chair right now, just, like, staring at us, producing us, so maybe she'll swoop by, who knows.
She's being good right now. There's no jingle jangling. We might let it be.
Yeah. Also, another thing that I'm not prepared for the summertime of podcasting, because we started in the fall of last year,
Oh yeah.
is that there's like no air conditioning or fans on right now, so we don't want like the air sounds.
Can't have the
getting-
white noise.
I don't know what we're gonna do. We just got to get a bunch of ice packs, and like, if you hear us in the summer episodes, just know that we're like covered in ice packs.
Oh, this is news to me, but I guess it makes sense.
That's what I'm gonna do.
I figured we're just gonna have to like open the windows, like blast the air before we do
Yeah.
it.
You don't want to get like.
Make it like Antarctica.
You don't want to get like into a serious topic, and then like the kids outside are like.
Oh, true.
just cursing up a storm.
I didn't even think about it.
But, yeah.
Neighbors.
Yes,
Goddamn
neighbors. Them Jersey neighbors. But anyway, you want to start us off?
Sure.
Okay,
Okay, so
cool.
I'm gonna start off with like a kind of easy question, I think.
Nice. Me. Mull it over.
What was your favorite story to cover so far and why?
Oh, man. There's so many options. There's 36 options. 35. I had a lot of fun when we did Star Wars and I did The Empire Strikes Back. Because I don't know what it was, but I just like... like my imagination just like filled in a lot of background stuff of like little subtle jokes, and
Yeah.
I was just flowing, man. I really like that. Plus, anytime I get to rewatch Star Wars is like a huge big deal for me. So you forget to like
answer.
rewatch it like all the way through.
Yeah.
Usually it's on TV, and then you're like, I'll finish it till the end. But this time I was sitting down and I was enjoying it.
You're really getting into the Star Wars.
Yeah. So, what was your first favorite podcast?
First favorite podcast I ever listened to was, and That's Why We Drink.
Yes, that's a great one.
True crime and paranormal podcast.
Yeah, I remember we were folding clothes and you were like, I'm going to put on a podcast. And it was that. And I was like, this is
Yeah.
actually a lot of fun.
Well, their second episode, I think, their first or their second, they covered Eastern State Penitentiary, which I actually worked at in a haunted house.
She was a ghoul.
I was a ghoul. But I also lived across the street from it when I lived in Philly. So I have like a special, like weird attachment to this old prison. But whatever.
Yeah.
So I mainly listened to it for the first time because of that.
Yeah.
And then I just got hooked because I loved their humor and they were relatable, like
Very true.
close to age. And we had a lot of like common interests. And
Yeah. We definitely have had some like road late night drives where we just went to like Wawa and got milkshakes and like listened to it on the road.
we made a date night once and we like got milkshakes and then we did like team wine.
Oh yeah,
after.
we listened to the first half on the road. That's
Yeah.
right, and then we came home and did team wine. So that's cool.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That was a good question. I like
Absolutely.
that. Did you have like a favorite podcast that you listened to?
So-
got you started.
So the first podcast I listened to, actually, it's kind of funny. I was like, who would want to listen to someone talk for like an hour straight with no music? So, but when you lived in Philly, I still lived in New Jersey, so I would have to make the drive like 2-3 times a week, and it was long. It was like over an hour depending on traffic. So I'm like, let's check this out. And Stone Cold Steve Austin had 2 podcasts, and I'm like, I could listen to Stone Cold Steve Austin talk about basically anything. So it was my first. I was like, oh, I got to drive home, and there's no new episodes. What do I do? So I guess that would
Nice.
technically be my first like favorite that I couldn't let go of. So.
I knew it had to be wrestling. I'm not surprised.
It always comes back to wrestling.
What is something you want to cover but haven't yet?
Oh man, I'm always down for video games, but like, they're always so long. I want to get into
Yeah, I
something
know.
that's like intense. And I know I always cover Naughty Dog video games, but I really want to cover Last of Us 2 because it's so like divisive between like video game fans and stuff. And like,
I think that would be a good conversation. 'cause
it's definitely a game
Yeah.
where you could tell a lot about someone depending on what they say after if you liked it. so that'd be cool. Plus, one of my friends worked on it, so that was always cool. I was like, I was
Yeah.
at the end credits and I saw her name. I'm like, I know her. So that
That's
was cool.
awesome. It's so badass.
Yeah. So let's see here. What's one of your favorite things about the note taking process? Do you like read stuff differently now? Do you kind of like have a more critical eye when you're reading? Like, I know I took some film writing classes in college, and the first thing they said were like, you're gonna not see movies the same way after this class, and you're gonna hate me for it, the professor, because you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is beat 1, this is beat 2. Is that the same with books?
Yes and no. I think I've always kind of read like that. I always loved English class, and it's
Yeah.
similar to that. It's like similar to an English language arts mindset. So I feel like I've been out of that a while, but coming back into a mindset where you're not just like reading for funsies, like reading
Yeah.
for pleasure, but you're trying to like analyze it too.
Yeah.
I think I just naturally kind of fell back into it. So I don't know if I'm reading differently, but in a way, kind of falling back into the way I would used to read
Yeah.
for like school, I guess.
Just like a critical way instead of like
Right.
for leisure, I guess.
Yeah,
you'd say.
that was a good question. I like that one.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Was there anything from earlier episodes you'd like to add?
That I'd
feel
like to revisit.
or like something that you like feel like you forgot to say, or like
all the time.
I
I'll like
know.
listen to it in editing and be like, damn it.
could have said that. I know. I
There
think
was-
for Back
yeah.
to the Future in particular.
There was so much for Back to the Future that I was like, I don't think I talked about the movie enough. There's so many side stories and stuff, like Final Fantasy VII we covered and childhood favorites, and there's so much that I left out, like entire character arcs just for timing constraints. Like I just
know.
wanted to get to like the main story. So I would like to do that maybe, and then the Crow episode, I'd love to do the movie
Yeah.
too. So like I don't know, it's just crazy.
I think we can get to a point where we could do like the Crow, you know what I mean? Like mishmash those things.
Yeah, exactly.
We can always revisit things too.
Yeah, we probably will.
I know, and that's why We Drink actually revisited one of their earlier episodes because they were like, we didn't know how to research.
Yeah, that's the same thing too. Like, I don't know. I listened to our earlier episodes and I'm like, oh man,
Yeah.
I would totally have done that differently. But I still love those first episodes and
Yeah.
stuff.
I
It's
probably need to do like redo the Starless Sea because I
Ah.
had nothing in that.
that's the best part.
That was a
about,
good book too.
Yeah, that's like the thing about the early episodes too. That like you kind of have a time capsule of, like
Yeah.
I'll listen back and I'm like, I didn't sound awesome, but I didn't sound as bad as I thought I did when I hit like submit on the whatever. I'm like, nobody's gonna listen to this. And then
Right.
our first day, we were pretty lucky. I don't know what happened with like algorithms and stuff, but we had like a solid first day, and I was like,
We did.
we could keep doing this. So
Yeah, we lucked out.
yeah, exactly. So what is something that you learned about yourself from the podcast outside of reading, recording, whatever? Like, has it made you more confident as like a public speaker, or is there, you know, some aspect of like recommending things that you kind of feel better about when you're talking?
I think I do feel more confident because it's like something I didn't think I would be able to do, and I think it's changed the way I've talked because I'm a lot more mindful now of like likes and ums in particular.
Like uhs and buts and
that wedding we were talking about, I actually officiated.
Yeah.
And I don't think I really ummed or liked or anything. I felt very confident in the way I spoke, and I don't know if I would have done as well if I didn't have podcasting before that.
I don't know if I told you this, but our friend of the show, Jessica, came up to me after you officiated, and she was like, "It's so funny. I was listening to Heather do her thing, and I'm like, I know this voice." It's like, I listen to her all the time. So thank you for that. And
Hi,
thank you for listening. Yeah, hello.
Thank you.
So
I
it was kind of
appreciate
funny.
it.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Like, I don't know. I always hated my voice, and they always say, like, the thing that you hate about yourself is something that other people like, so whatever.
Yeah. This gets big and take off. We're going to, like, get recognized in public.
Who knows?
Are you ready for that?
I don't know. Probably. As long as it's nice. I don't know. I have to wear, like the mustache, you know, like the fake mustache.
The little disguise, the little glasses.
I already have the big nose, so I don't know.
With
Like, I would just wear the mustache over my beard.
And you got the glasses, so you just have to
Yeah,
do
I'd be
like
screwed,
the little weird mustache and call it a day.
Exactly, yeah. So you got anything else for me? Is that the end of Q&A?
I think I have one more, so I'll make it more related to the podcast process.
Okay.
What do you find most difficult about podcasting? Either like recording the episodes, or I know in your case editing, or
So I know it's like trendy on TikTok right now, but I have really bad ADD. If you can't tell by like fidgeting and like not finishing sentences, and I get super into like creating and doing everything. And if I'm not in the mood on a particular day, I'll just sit there and I'm like, I'll do it in a half hour. I'll do it in a half hour. And then there's some days where it's like, I shouldn't admit this in case other podcasters are listening, but maybe you guys relate. It's like 11:50 on like the night before our episode is about to drop, and I'm like just finishing it and hit send.
Yeah.
So pacing myself is, you know, probably the biggest.
time management.
Time management, yeah. So that's definitely the number one thing.
That's a hard thing for
and
life
like,
in general.
Yeah, and like in my personal life, like I don't take too many pictures of myself or selfies or anything like that. And like we've been really consistent with the face. I had to stop myself because I was gonna say the Facebook, and I don't want to sound like I'm 5 million years old. So I was like, shit, I'm halfway through saying it, and I have to stop. So on the Facebook, on the Instagram, I have to like really coordinate like once a week to take a picture of myself, and I'm like, whew. But
Lots of selfies.
I think that's cool because I think a lot of the show is, it's the show and the thing we cover and stuff like that, but it's also our opinions and everything. So it's important to like put ourselves out there and say what our opinions are on the week and whatever, you know?
Yeah, and I mean,
that's kind of an angle that we go in.
They're definitely controversial sometimes too. So I feel like pretty brave putting some of that stuff out there, but I feel good about it too. You know,
yeah.
I've never been like one to kind of stand up for myself or my beliefs, and I think this past year has kind of forced me to, in a way.
Yeah, it's a good platform, you know?
Yeah. I like kind of having this platform to like really put my opinions out there and be strong about it.
Yeah. And a lot of times we'll like talk ourselves through something that like we didn't realize at the beginning of the sentence or of the show, and you're like, oh my god, halfway through, like I learn, you know, a lot of stuff from what we go through, and hopefully that's what we give to people who listen.
Yeah, give you some like life lessons.
Yeah. I hear a couple people have told me that like, not to sound like humble, but we have like soothing, like I don't know, there's like a soothing quality. So like, if that's what you get out of it, let me know, because we appreciate that as well.
We'll sing you a lullaby. I don't know.
Exactly. Ooh, that'd be
That'd be a fun episode.
Lullaby.
Bedtime story.
I know.
Edition.
So yeah, we do have like a bunch of cool shows coming up. I know we were talking about a new series. We have the Crossing the Streams, which is also like a big hit, but we were talking about copied homework.
Oh,
Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah.
So we're gonna start doing something like sprinkled in here and there, a new series called Copying Homework or Copied Homework. We haven't decided yet. Where it's two stories that are like super similar that are like eerily similar that could be taken. I don't know. Maybe one's copying. The other.
Like, maybe one was based off the other, or
Exactly.
like a little stolen, or
Exactly. Yeah. So that's something we're looking at. Obviously, we're looking at Crossing the Streams. Keep going with that.
I've been
There's,
enjoying that personally.
Yeah, I know. It's because you like to watch TV just as much as me, but
It's true.
you're the better reader, so kind of got screwed on that one.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I like reading.
Yeah, and then this upcoming episode, we feel so bad about missing this week, so we're gonna do the theme of fun, which should be cool. We're not gonna spoil what we're covering just yet, but it should be fun. I hope.
I think it'll be a good one. Nice light episode.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Oh God. Cut.
Just edit that out.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's kind of what we have coming up for the end of the summer, or through the rest of the summer. Jeez, it's just beginning, but it feels like.
I know. I don't even think it's officially summer yet.
No, I think June 23rd.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sure felt like summer last weekend.
Yeah, we almost died at this wedding from the heat. But, yeah, so anything else you want to add before we bid adieu?
I think I'm good.
All
I
right.
think you touched on it all.
Yes. There we go. So this is going to be going up probably on Instagram, on the Reels, just because it's probably the easiest access. But we'll throw it up on YouTube. I know the YouTube hasn't had a lot of love lately, and that's my fault just because I like having technical difficulties and I'm
There's
learning.
only so much Jeff can do,
Yeah,
so.
I'm not a videographer, so I had to learn, so
Yeah.
we're getting to that. But yeah, thank you so much for being with us so far. We can't wait to pass our year. That's going to be a lot of fun.
We got to think of some fun things for the year.
Absolutely. So thank you again. We appreciate you guys being with us and, listening every week. We could see on the map where everybody's coming from and, people who keep listening and coming back. So you guys are why we do it. We love you guys and stay tuned for more.
Thanks so much. If you want to look for us on social media, you can find us at Parallel Fiction on Instagram and Twitter, Parallel Fiction Podcast on Facebook, and send us an old-fashioned, I'm so excited to say this on camera right now, send us an old-fashioned email at parallelfictionpod@gmail.com. Thank you so much for sticking with us.
Take care, guys.
Have a great week!